This is an Assa Desmo, the cam-lock variant of the lock. The Assa Desmo is a slider-based high-security lock. It's mostly used in slot machines or cash drawers, where higher security locks are obviously preferred. The lock has 8 springless sliders and 2 sidebars. So logically, you have 4 sliders on each side of the keyway and 4 sliders that interact with 1 sidebar. Every slider has 1 true gate and 2 false gates. How the sliders are arranged, it's not like that the distance between the sliders is always the same. You have 2 sliders that are grouped in the front of the keyway and 2 sliders that are grouped at the back of the keyway. Left and right side are symmetrically. The Desmo is also available with 6 sliders, and I have the feeling that that variant of the lock is a little bit more common than the 8 slider version. At least if you browse through YouTube, you will find the 6 slider version more often. To pick this lock, I'm going to use a Dangerfield half diamond pick in 23 thousandths of an inch, and I will use top of the keyway tensioning. The half diamond fits pretty nicely in the keyway, and with the tip you can easily feel the cuts and sliders, so you have a better time to orientate yourself and the position in the keyway. The tip also works pretty good to manipulate the sliders, so overall I can recommend the half diamond. You can also see here that it works pretty good, and you can see every time I hit a cut I get pretty distinguished feedback and I know where I am in the lock. To test if a slider is in a true gate, I will use the called jiggle test. So if you have the feeling that the slider is set, you're going to wiggle it with your pick, and if the slider is not moving at all, it is most likely stuck in a false gate. And if the slider is moving a little bit, jiggling, that's why the test is called the jiggle test, you can be pretty certain that the slider is in a true gate. The effect is caused by the tolerances, because a true gate has a slightly wider cut so that it has enough room to give space for the slider to fit into it, and it has a little bit more space than the slider would actually need to because of the tolerances. That's why it can move a little bit. And in comparison, a false gate is not that deep, and especially if you put the lock under tension, the slider has no move at all or cannot move at all because there's no space, so it's stuck. And by doing so, you can figure out if the slider is in a false gate or in a true gate. The following picking video was recorded in my previous apartment, and that's why the setup, lighting, etc. is a little bit different. I didn't have time to make the video, to prepare the video and upload it yet. That said, let's give it a try. Okay, here we go. Didn't expect this to happen that fast. So we'll go a little bit higher to have a better angle so that I don't take the core out of the frame for a second. Okay, cool. Take that away. Take this in the middle. I'll just turn the lamp a little bit. No, that's not better. Guess that's the best. Anyways, hands are a little bit shaking. Everything falls apart, but who cares? With the fingers it works better than with the tweezers anyways. Okay, and there's the last one. Got it. Okay, the springs are all gone out of it. I mean, anyway. Then let's sort this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One sidebar spring, another sidebar spring, the sidebar, the other sidebar, and the sidebar plug, and the other sidebar plug. Let's lift this to the camera. Okay, that one jumped over. Okay, perfect. So you can see nothing filed here. Works as it should. Same here. Everything's there as it should. That's the core. No modifications here. Perfect. In general, I found this lock quite difficult to pick, Maybe that's the case because I don't like sliders very much. Because the thing is, if you are in a false gate with one of the sliders, you have to remove tension to get it out of it. And removing tension most of the time causes other sliders to drop again and to move. So it's a continuous battle against false gates and true gates. Especially the last sliders can be pretty difficult to set. At a certain point, most sliders will be in the true gate, so the sidebar starts to move. And by doing so, it's even more difficult to set the other sliders because the sidebar is already pushing. So if you apply too much tension at that stage, the sidebar is basically jamming the lock and prevents it from opening. If you release too much tension, that will cause sliders again to drop. So especially at the end, when you're close to the opening, it's getting more difficult. At least that was my impression. The best advice I can give, and that was given to me, is just keep on picking and just continue to pick. At a certain point it will work, but it's a battle against the sliders, as I just said. In terms of functionality, I would like to show you that at this semi-gutted lock, I have one slider taken out of the core. You can see if I enter the key, the sliders will start to move as they should. So nothing special, come on. The lighting is a little bit better like that. And this is one of those pins. Basically what happens is that the pin is moving like that in this cut on the key. And if you have a look at the other side of the slider, you can see the true gate and the two false gates on top of it. So we have here at the key this other cutting, this groove, and that corresponds to this area on the core. As I said in the beginning, we have two sliders at the back and two sliders grouped in the front. That's because the sidebars have another pin and a spring here. So I have the two pins left and right here, and the spring is from the other side of the lock. So they will interact with the sidebar and they will push inwards at the end. And you should be able to see it. There's the hole, and the hole will align with the cut on the key so that the pin can enter there. I guess that's all there is to say about the lock. Maybe I can just show with the pick what I said in the beginning. You can go here and then align the sliders and manipulate them. Pretty good. Okay. Thanks a lot.